I do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again, again, on another day, another moment for us to communicate, another day for us to melt together when everything seems to be falling apart. That's today's dream topic, at least. You know, this understanding, this feeling of the world as we know it disintegrating. Little by little, the cracks are starting to show. And we know that there is some change necessary. And it can be a little bit intimidating. But as long as we continue melting together, right, this understanding, this feeling of coming together, trying to consolidate the things that we know are important, and then staying true to those things. I thank you, friends, for joining me. Nancy and Shannon and Nana. Blessings to you, dear friends. While we get this energy started, I'll play some kalimba just to center myself as well. To breathe deeply, to remind myself that things are going to be okay. Done. The amount of things my mind can go through in a moment, just playing this little instrument. I watched one of the cows getting pestered by a bird and like trying to get it off of him. I felt like the sun just shining on my face, providing its energy from so many miles away. I saw the clouds. I was looking at the tree and then at the clouds in retrospect. And just the way the clouds move slowly just had this visceral psychedelic experience to it. And then I was thinking to myself, the way we perceive clouds just alone, in and of itself, is one of these experiences that we have come to expect, right? We're used to it, our experience of time and how the clouds are supposed to move. And I was thinking to myself that if we figure out how to live for 1,000 years as a human being, will the clouds change? Ultimately, no. Like the actual formation of clouds will have to remain the same, but I wonder if our perception of them will change. Everything falling apart, yet we keep melting more. I appreciate you friends joining me. Joy and Sam, I see your names in chat. Let me see more. It's loading. Any second now. Maybe I have to go out and go back in. Yeah, that worked. There we go. Cable is here too. Love, peace, and prosperity, and other sexy values. I see Kristen here too, sending you love and dear friend. Natalie as well. Duck Dad. In a typical ADHD procrastination form, I'm trying to whip up a curriculum for a 2-hour class I'm teaching at our library tonight. My mind goes, hey, ChatGPT, this is what I want to teach these kids. Can you help me write like a basic curriculum? That's gonna like last 2 hours. Can you like sum it up in like simple talking points that I can reference? And then you print that out, and then you just look at those points, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is the thing I'm supposed to say next." And then you, Doc, that is in fact exactly what's gonna happen. Seeing into your world, dude. Kristen, if you're here, my parents are in Vegas. Treat them well. Hold space for them in that space as well. Thank you. I'm gonna read something worth saying. I picked up this book because I want to. What is what you have chosen to make of it. Yeah. Things will fall apart, friends. Things will. Our bodies, our ideas of what we want for our lives, potentially, our technology, our water pressure. That was the thing. So like this is the comic nature of life sometimes. And I'm still confused about what the hell was happening. So I decide I'm showering, I have like a schedule, play music, shower, get in the cold water as the beat drops kind of vibe. And it is cold today, and I can feel like my body is almost like in the state of like pre-shock, knowing what I'm going to do now. And I open the water and there's like drops falling, and I'm like, bruh. Like I can survive showering cold if there's just like a beam blasting at me, but if it's just like little drops falling on me, that's just like torture. So I get out of the shower, I like put a towel around me, I go walk to the pump. The pump is on. I'm like, so if that's not the problem, I don't know what is. I walk back. I try to shower. Still no pressure. But there is a little bit more pressure. Enough for me to actually get myself, properly wet. I shower. I go through the whole experience. And I'm like in a state of like kind of outrage. Where I'm like, why? Why is it like this? And then I open the faucet on my sink, and the water is just like coming the way it's supposed to. I'm like, the fuck's happening here? And then I go back to my shower and I open the tap and the water comes, and I'm like, what's happening right now? What's actually happening? Is this what did I what the fuck? And I'm looking at myself in the mirror being like, did you do this? Did you do this to us? Was this you? And I start smiling at myself. I'm like, no, bro, you can't do that though. I can do that. And it was just this coy lesson from the universe of, that things will fall apart. Our idea of how things are supposed to be will fall apart in one way or another. And we can still make do, right? We can still melt more. We can still continue with this process that it is we're participating in. And it's absurd to me sometimes. No matter how good you get at your journey, that is, enlightenment, you will still face the same stuff. The same issues will still come up. Hey, Connor is here too. Seeing your name in chat makes me happy, dear friend. Jovan as well. So many blessings to all of you friends. Mel looks like he's staring down the sun into submission. He's like, yeah, dude, sit down, son. I told the sun to. Hey, is Isaac here too? Nice. Sending your love it. Blessings to you, brother bear. Yeah, son, sit down, son. Watch, and like an hour or so, son is gonna sit down. It's like, oh, I'm so scared. I'm sorry. That's exactly what's happening. No, I have great reverence for the sun. There's this beautiful little video of the planets. Like I'm trying to now butcher a video by trying to explain it verbally, but there are the planets, and they're like having conversations with one another, and they're celebrating each other. I think like it's Earth's birthday or something. It did a full resolution or revolution around the sun, and Earth goes like, "Isn't Sun gonna join us?" And it's like, "Nah, Sun is always doing his thing." And then they pan over to the sun, and the sun goes, just screaming. It's like, "Yeah, the sun. He's always doing his thing." So thank you, sun, for screaming all of that energy at us. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it like just like actually just think about it. Look at the sun and realize that there is so like an absurd amount of energy going. So much, in fact, that it illuminates our entire solar system. The fact that I can see my own hands right now because of this entity that participates with me. Thank you, dear sun. I bless with you. Thank you for blessing me. Okay, let me get back to it. Morning again. Joy. It's nice seeing your name, friend. Help, I've fallen to pieces. Melt yourself together again. All right, small pieces by small pieces by small pieces makes a big whole. You got this. I believe in you, friend. Love that, Doug. The world is worthy of your brain stuff, and I appreciate you sharing it. You got this, my dude. Yeah. Agreed, Krista. And again, thank you for the love-ins. Love you, Jovan. Quote from Kalimba. What song? And Kalimba is cute. No, I don't know if there's like any name for me to give you. I don't play anything particular. I play whatever comes up. I channel the universe or whatever. Like I have to be like mildly satirical with this stuff. Otherwise I'll, get cancelled one day or something. Like I said, yeah, this dude, that says he's channeling the universe when he plays this instrument. What a loser. Like, yeah, maybe I am. Love you. Yeah. Things falling apart. The thing that brings up in me is this rage against the dying of the light. I don't want to fall apart. No? Who wants to fall apart? Nobody wants to fall apart. I'm okay with it, but I don't want it. And then a part of my mind goes, well, if you're okay with it, technically you do want it. And I'm like, bruh, come on, oh, don't do me like that. It's like, well, you chose to be this way, chose to come to this planet as a human during the time that you did. We're probably going to experience great change. I'm, as some of you friends know, pro genetic engineering, not eugenics, genetic engineering, right? And to me, there is a difference. Eugenics is trying to perfect humanity, right? Trying to create this idealized version of humanity and then editing babies editing certain gene expressions away because we don't want them, because they're less than ideal. No, I don't think that's the point. I think we came here with a certain genetic blueprint, and I would like to build on that blueprint, right? Like imagining this architect, the universe, that built, all of this DNA infrastructure for me to be a human right now. And then I get to, as an intelligence, build on top of that. I don't think I'll be able to give myself extra arms. Even though as a kid I was really fascinated with that. Lilo and Stitch messed me up a little bit. I wanted Stitch arms. I don't know why, but I really, I'm still kind of fascinated with the idea of being able to just grow an arm out. Like maybe I have too many things to carry and I don't want to make two trips, so I just grow extra arms. That does sound kind of sick, but I don't think we'll get quite there. No, no, I don't. Maybe robotics. Like I can add like a backpack to my back that has little arms built into it, and then as soon as I think of it, I can activate one of those little backpack arms. Yeah, yeah. You see, intelligence. Exactly. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I don't know. Falling apart, right? Like as we fall apart as human beings, we have had this need to build ourselves up. I do believe that the human being is the ultimate self-repair model, right? Because we repair things, we do upkeep, we repair ourselves, we take into consideration the way we've acted, and then we choose to act differently. We take into consideration, the things that break us down, and we stop doing them, or at least we can. At least we're capable of doing that. We can exercise. We can change our food choices. We can do a bunch of drugs and then stop because we know it's not good for us. And that, to me, in my mind at least, is a level of self repair. It's like a willingness to stop this process of falling apart, melting together instead. I'm curious to see where we're going, and like I feel like the whole point of this process of showing up in the way that we do every day, and I had this conversation with Gary as well, is change is inevitable. Change is 100% inevitable. It is going to happen. And I can either fight the change or I can either make change, right? Be a part of the change. And I do want to be. Is that Diana? Love you, dear friend. It's nice seeing you so much. We're here with you. You've been missed as well. Thank you for joining us today, dear friend. So yeah, you friends will get to see. Hey Louisiana, I'm repairing myself as we speak. There we go, right? Louisiana, as a self-repair model, had access to medical services where other beings with this goal of of repairing, right, worked on her knee, and now they're taking care of her. They're facilitating a space for her to self-repair, right? Like that. No other creature does that. No other creature does that. So yeah, if that is the way we are meant to be, I might as well be that way, right? Might as well embrace the self-repair model as a self as well. Are you teaching tonight? Lurking at work? Love you again, Connor. Container gardening, growing beautiful harvests in small spaces. That's great, dude. I feel like that is such a cool thing to teach kids. Teach kids how to grow things. Teach kids how to take care of themselves. Teach kids just how, important it is to understand what it is that food is, right? Like we have been so far separated, like the convenience thing, the fact that we can, on our little or glass slabs, just do this, and then a few minutes from then, someone knocks on our door and delivers us food. That's not what food is, right? And I'm just imagining myself being a child. Like I didn't get to grow up that way. And I don't think it's a bad thing and I don't think it's a good thing. But I got to see my mom cooking, right? And I remember, I still do really love food, right? I was a fiend as a child. Like I couldn't couldn't be stopped. And I would like have this whole, guilt-ridden part of myself as well, who would eat when I wasn't seen, because I know I've already eaten and I shouldn't probably eat anymore, but I wanted to anyway. Yeah, a story for another day. Story for every day. But it was this experience of, knowing at least in part where food came from. That my mom baked cookies, so I could see the process of how these cookies became manifested. And now, as a child of today, we have a word for them, even like tablet children, right? I'm imagining, I don't know, I hope at least that children aren't ordering themselves food as well. There probably is a child out there who has his parents' credit card attached to their device and they can order them food whenever they feel like it. But that is like a level of disconnect that is pretty absurd. And being able to just show kids how it works. Like, look, I put this thing in ground and then I give water and then the sun shines and then it slowly becomes this fractal bursting out of the earth. And then you harvest this produce and then you get to put it in your mouth. I feel like kids do probably understand, at least in part, but there is a certain significance in being able to partake of something that you had an active role in creating. For me, it was a deep realization when I started growing my own weed. Like I smoked weed that was bought a few times, and then I decided to grow my own of the seeds I got in the weed I bought. And there was such a significant difference, right? Like it's the exact same, at least in theory, chemical, THC, but the significance of the experience was spiritual in my mind. And I feel it's the same thing for food. Eating the food that you've grown has a certain level of personal energy to it that you can't get with food that you've bought. And this is not me trying to make us feel bad, because most of the food I eat I didn't grow myself, full disclaimer. It's just a consideration. And again, and I had this conversation recently, that I believe we can still bring some of that personal energy into our food just by taking a moment to consider, right? Just taking a moment to realize that this thing you're eating used to be alive, right? And it gave its life for you to continue living. And that's the nature of reality. The universe eats itself, the Ouroboros, right? Self consuming to continue. Do people remember the names of clouds like from schools? I know cumulonimbus, cumulonimbus, and I know stratus clouds, and I know those are the ones. Those are the ones I remember. I remember learning, right? I remember forcing those names inside my brain for, was it geology? Uh, can't even remember the freaking class name. But yeah, I haven't kept that information. Melt, fully grown adults today. I use SubGPT. Yay. Of course. Right? It's a tool. It's a tool that facilitates the work that you do, because you're still going to be the one that talks, right? Just because you have material to reference isn't going to take away the skill, the significance of what you have to convey. You still have to add some of that charisma. Nancy to all new melt arrivals. Is that an alien spaceship unicorn? I didn't know what you call the last one. Old retro alien game character. Love you too. Stratus is one, I think. Yeah, I also remember the Stratus one. Kristen, here too. Your little Dixie doggo doing yoga melted me. So freaking beautiful. I didn't get to see that, unfortunately. Delicious. This Decidius Zano. Cumulonimbus, Stratus. I'm happy that those are the two ones you also remember, Doc Dad. Like, those are also the only two ones I remembered. Joy Vive. There's a tree that loses its leaves. I feel like I'm lost somewhere. Sam, Tunnel's the typical Kansas answer. Is the cumulative. What's happening right now? I don't live in a crap hole. What's happening? Close enough, but your reaction is how I am when I confuse. I'm confused as well right now. Mouth making clouds in his bathroom, Kansas. I'm gonna use my inside voice for the rest of these comments until I feel like I'm not insane anymore. Still super sick. Oh, bro. Still, oh, like how long has it been? Like more than a week at this point. Still cursed, as after my excruciating 25-hour travel day, I wake up today to get to work from home and organize my mess, and my laptop is bricked! Bro! Bro! You see, like, I'm reeing with you, dude. You know, like a part of me feels like a sense of course. You know, like, oh yeah, of course. Of course this is also happening. Today's whole stream topic is about this, is an understanding, huh, Isaac? With things falling apart, your computer falling apart, you as a body feeling like you're falling apart as you're fighting this virus. Yes, see, dude. Thank you for still choosing love, Owen. For still choosing to show up, for being right here in this very moment. I appreciate you making the time, dude. Bro, I'm feeling my heart is breaking for you. Joe, but it contains you, so every minute of existence, exactly. Going to the dock today. I feel you, man. The 8-hour flight back from Barcelona was agony. I did enjoy the last day at least. I still get really rough, but I forced onto that boat ride and still swam in the Mediterranean. I'm a spirited heart and I love the sea, so I had to. It was kind of hilarious. I would go snorkel and dive down for 8 seconds before my infected lungs were dying for air. I'm trying to imagine if there's like something good about that. I think seawater, or at least breathing like seawater air, might be better for your lungs than it's not. Blessings, dude. I hope you get better soon, bro. I'm sorry that you're going through this whole process. Feeling like you're falling apart, literally. Like the amount of synchrony is kind of tripping me out even. I'm sorry, you're having such a rough time. Sucks, doc. The light share, the work do still, exactly. Better soon. Thank you, Shan, for sending lovin's as well. But we start the healing process, and I couldn't be more grateful that I'm not worse and that I'm getting better and have access to the beauty that I do. This is the way. All right, that's the part of us that melts things together again. It's like, yeah, all of these things falling apart, but also look at how beautiful the clouds are. That is an interesting cloud formation. You want to see what I'm seeing? Let me show you. I don't know if you can. Might be too blown out, especially with this light. Let me see if I switch this around. The wide lens, the narrow lens. Look at that. That's like a pattern forming there. That's what I saw when I said, look at how beautiful the clouds are. Those 5 little cloud spots probably won't melt together, but I can imagine them becoming one again. Let me get this back. Skabow. There we go. And oh boy, did I miss my puppy. I'm sure Scott is absolutely, viscerally excited to have you back home again as well. Sending you blessings, dude. Feather pillow disintegrated in my washing machine. Things falling apart for you too, Joy? Like I'm tripping out. Like I'm tripping out how many synchronicities, right? For me, it was the water pressure, and then my internet wasn't working as well while I was trying to get ready. And then I was like reaching this space of like, and then realizing that Isaac is suffering still, his sickness, his computer got bricked, Joy's pillow got disintegrated. What are the odds? Right? What are the odds that so many layers of disintegration would happen at the exact same time? Swam in the Mediterranean. So freaking cool, Isaac. Glad you're still able to make the best of it, of course. He's a trooper after all. Completely fell apart. Sounds messy to those who don't know. I'm pro gene editing. Yeah, I am. Again, because I believe it's going to reduce human suffering, right? If a baby is born with a congenital disease, right, edit them genes. If a baby is born with a gene that causes them to be blind, am I going to be like, nah, gene editing is unethical. God decided for that baby to be blind. Let the baby blind. No, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh hell no, nah, that's not gonna fly with me. I'm sorry. No, give the kid its sight back. You know, like it's not its fault that genes can be wonky sometimes, and they're already doing that. You know, there are already people like with sickle cell anemia. Is it sickle cell anemia? A sickle cell disease where your blood cells, instead of being around and having those divots, being able to absorb oxygen appropriately, some of them form as these little sickles. And it causes a whole plethora of issues in the human body. And we can, through gene editing, give your body the correct instructions to manufacture proper red blood cells. And then upon gene editing these people, they gain an immense quality of life, right? It's like a level of suffering that we can prevent by actually, furthering this type of technology. Thousands of feathers, can only imagine. Oh, like the mess. Thank you for the healing words. They definitely help. Things are bad, so I'm present and happy because good is on the way. This is the way. What color was it? Oh, the inside feathers came out. I think so. White pillow, brown and gray feathers. Oh, goodness. Sending you calm and patience. That sounds like a lot of work, right? Now some type of drainage pipe is clogged. Figure it out. Things falling apart because of things falling apart. That's how it happens sometimes as well, right, Joy? It's like it's not enough that this one thing is falling apart, but because this one thing fall apart, now things down the line are falling apart as well. We fall apart. Our mental experience, our patience, our calm falls apart as well. What a process. Being a human being is hard sometimes, and it doesn't get any easier. No, no, bro. You know what's falling apart? My colon after smashing a good old American breakfast, aka the Freedom Cleanse. I don't know if that's good. If that's a good thing. maybe like falling apart isn't necessarily a good thing. Love you, Melty. Love you again, Diana. It's nice seeing your name, dear friend. Sending you blessings. Now your clothing are gonna come out like Chicken Little for a while. I've missed you. Thank you, Shan, for sending love, preparing as I speak. Oh Lordy Joy. I hope the fix is easier than it seems. Sending strength. Those problems can be a pain. Seriously. It's broken Zano. No clean clothes until I sort it out. Taking breaths. Ah. Hey, UD. You taking breaths with me? Breathe. No matter how bad things get, breathe. They get worse, breathe. They get better, breathe. Keep breathing, and we'll see these things through. Freedom Cleanse. Do you have White Castle or Waffle House for breakfast? Sounds about right, especially the White Castle one. I've had White Castle once, but in China, so I don't know if it counts. We had like a box full of these square burgers. It was nice. Dang, so intense. Joy, good luck, my friend. Wally waffle, pancakes, eggs, bacon, home fries, and my wife's chicken and waffles that she didn't eat. Nice, yeah, nice. That's the real benefit of having a wife. Eating her food when she doesn't finish it in the restaurants. I'm excited to go back though. I'm joking, of course. That was a joke. I was making a joke. Are you making a joke? I really like food. I feel I feel such a sense of resonance, and it messes with me that I feel so much resonance with the character. I've forgotten his name, of course. Gumball's dad. You know, the unemployed fat dude who just chills on the couch all day. Like I hate that I love him as a character so much. I really do. And I really don't approve of this depiction we've had in like cartoon media, even in like normal media as well, of the useless dad, right? Because that's not the fractal I got to experience. My dad has been a very hard worker for a great deal of his life. Yeah, I'm tripping out. This is one of those things. My light is warming up, and I can hear the fan, and it's messing with me. I don't think you friends can hear it, which is good at least. Mm-mm-mm. I'm excited to be back though. I've had hours of fever dreams like D&D planning for the future. It's time to get to work. I mean, if you're gonna be stuck at home, you might as well. I think I was challenging sickness with gladiator-esque devouring joy. It was a primal experience. My shared dryer in the basement is broken. The exhaust pipe comes off and the dryer air keeps rising to the top floor where I live. I just rip the dryer back and shove it back on and then push and the wall against it and pray. I hope that works. I'm sorry that that's also falling apart on your side, Zana. Takeout places here where I live only start delivering food after COVID, so I never had the luxury of food delivery, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't particularly appreciate the fact that it's so easy, right? Like I notice that it's so much easier for me to spend copious amounts of money on food when I could be cooking for myself instead because it's so convenient, right? It's just too convenient. Like you're chilling, maybe you're working even, and the feeling of hunger arises, and you start rendering the fractal because it has to happen in the mind first, right? You start rendering the fractal of getting up, looking in the fridge, seeing what you have to cook, going through the process of rendering slowly but surely, standing in front of the stove, cutting things, right? And you're like, and then you look at the fractal of ordering food and it goes, and then numbers go, and then food arrives, right? That's so much more easy, like, than the whole other process. So it's easy to get caught in that trap. As soon as you start with it, it's hard to stop as well. Do you have one of those big accordion vent ducts, Shanna? They can be pretty cheap, and keeping the dryer away from the wall can help it stay on. That's never fun. Yeah. Like my mind goes to like, and this is again, I don't know if it's correct, but I really enjoy the hot air that comes out of dryers. And I think it's like probably loaded with phthalates, so I shouldn't enjoy it. But it like has like a certain okay. Maybe I'm like tripping out with the fractals that my mind is rendering right now. I remember as a kid, I would put my school clothes in the dryer, and I would close the door, and our door, and I don't have a vent outside. I had a vent like on the door, had like these perforated kind of like door area, and you would close the door and you would like start running it, and it would spin and would pump hot air into that, and then the hot air would come out the front, and then I would take a shower, and then I would rush from the shower to the laundry room, and I would keep the door closed of the laundry room so that that room can be filled with hot air when I get out of the shower. And then I would get dressed in my hot clothing, and then I would just stand in front of the air. Okay, this core memory being unlocked. That's so triggering, kind of. Like the cold, having to get up at 6 a.m. every freaking weekday to go to school that I hated. Like that was like my favorite part of the whole experience. Is just getting dressed in hot clothing. Oh man, I'm happy that I don't have to do that anymore. I'm falling apart. I picked strawberries for duckling before bed last night. She ate them all and said, "Thank you for all the work you do to grow these for me." I was floored. A genuine and a heartfelt compliment, dude. Can't pay any money to receive something like that, dude. Because, like, I mean, you can, I guess, appreciate a thank you. Thank you, Daddy, for making monies and then buying me things. But I feel like thank you, Dad, for doing all the work you grow these. You want to sit on my lap? There you go. There you go, sweetie patweetie. A Pippi. Smush, 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 smush. Smush, 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 smush. Okay. Mm. No, Isaac, I totally know how to fix it, but I'm not paying a penny more to polish a third of an apartment, but I won't get paid if I fix it myself. Now the question is, Does it bother you enough, right? And that's the way I try to think of these things is I'm fixing it for myself. And I know that the version of me that's going to come and live in this space when I no longer do is also going to be myself. All right. Not this myself, but you myself. So like it depends on how much it costs. If it's like $100 kind of thing, I probably would just bite the bullet. But if it goes into the excess of that, then I probably would be, hard pressed to do it as well. Especially if it's not completely ruining your quality of life. Slumlord. At least it's free dryer because the money part is broke. Sick. That helps. At least. I love GPT, bro. It's honestly a dungeon master's dream. It's insane the amount of unique structure it can give. I use it to provide concepts for character, problem solve, and trap scenarios. And it has a certain level of creativity. You're still the one that has to give it direction. You have to be the conscious creator, but it can help you create in ways that we've never been able to before. And it's great fun using it as a tool as well, especially if you're doing something like that, like this is the type of dungeon scenario, this is the type of experience I want to portray, this is the type of characters, you can like even tell it what roles your dungeon members, your dungeon members, what roles your friends are playing, and then it can kind of like create the story based on their roles to make it like so that they can actually facilitate, like use their expertise to try and defeat this experience you're setting up for them. It's deep. It goes deep. I mean, like, I heard this beautiful analogy that someone said on a podcast, again, my mind space of his name, but he mentioned that ChatGPT is basically just data, all of human data that you can talk to. Are my messages being kept? That's so cute. Missed you all so much. We miss you too, Diana. It's nice having you. I don't think I've ever seen those emojis. I really like them. They're so freaking cool. I'm going to use my inside voice until I don't feel insane anymore. Like, it's one thing for me to read the comments when I'm like with it, when I understand what's happening. Reading the comments when I don't understand what's happening just makes me feel like I'm deranged. It's like there's these sounds coming out my face, but I don't know what they mean. That sounds like the definition of insanity. It's like, no, Mel, Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting. Please. Puppy, what are you garring at? What are you garring at? At Yudi Badooty? Leave Yudi Badooty alone. What is he doing? Joban, I thought you said thump thumping. Top thumping. I don't know what that means. My heart thumpeth a thumping. Heart beaten be beaten with the sweat of little ducklings' words. So cute, right? Having a little entity. Just imagine, right? The child that you birthed into this world looks at you as father and thanks you for doing, like, making an effort to grow her food. Like, that whole dynamic feels as old as time itself, maybe even older than time itself, maybe even before time is as we thought it was. You want to come and sit on my lap again? You can do that. Yeah, you can sit on my lap. Here you go, sweetie patootie. I'm so excited for weed, though, after a much needed 12-day tea break. I'm guessing that's probably a part of your difficult experience as well right now. Ask Sam though. I was in a hurry, so I used ChatGPT to summarize and put cake recipes down for Duckling's birthday. After baking the first one, I realized ChatGPT doesn't think eggs are fucking important. Just like amidst the fact that there should be eggs in it. It's like, oopsie. Oopsie-ka-doopsie. Maybe it finds some sort of moral implications with eggs. Joe Schmo, sending you lovin's. Love, love, love to you too. Drive-by lovin's to everyone here. Melty, you are beautiful, and I appreciate you, brother. Everyone have a blessed day. A blessed day. My cup of water decided to commit Sudoku. Just falls over randomly. Sounds like there's some brightening happening behind me as well. Maybe we'll get some rain. It would be nice. Unlikely though. I don't think your friends can see the full beauty of what's happening behind. I think the tree is obstructing. Right here is where the sun is starting to set, but there's some clouds breaking it up. Okay, okay, okay. Yudi Badudi! Come here, Duty! Puppy is instantly like, no, no, me. Come here, Yudi! Come here, Yudi! Goes to him. Come here, come here, Yudi! Come here! Come here, so jelly. Come, Yudi, come. I'm gonna give you some attentions as well. Come here, Yudi. Come here. Yeah, come here. Yeah, come here. Yeah, there you go. Shush, sweetie, Badudi. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Okay. Those are stratus clouds. What about cake? I spaced out. I think Duck Dad was asking for cake recipes, essentially. ChatGPT doesn't understand eggs. It's like, it's like it understands what they are. It's like, wait a second. There is this reproductive process where a bird, which is a descendant of a dinosaur, forces out of its body a shell, and encapsulated inside of that shell is protein and fat rich, nutrient rich goo. And then you beings decide to put it inside of you? It's like, what's wrong with you, human beings? Why would you do that? Because nutrients. Ek moet eet. I must eat. I have to eat things, otherwise I die. It's like, oh, it sucks to be you, bro. All I need is electrons. Yeah, things are going to go exponential with that too. Like the models are only going to become absurdly more powerful. Like over the next 5 years, potentially 100 times more powerful. At least in, petaflops of compute power. Floating points. Is that what it's called? Floating points. The black box gets even deeper. Oh goodness, where are we going? We're here. That's like, I have to keep answering that question for myself. I had this whole meditation, and I've told you friends about it, and I've been thinking about it so much. This experience of, I was going through a meditative space as I was exercising, and I would put myself into these like plank positions, or like extended planks where you hold your arms out, and it's difficult and it can be pretty brutal. And then I'm in that space where I'm struggling and my breath is labored. We have a quayful above us, and I ask God, God consciousness or whatever, to open up to me and to tell me something, to give me a sign or whatever. And it opens up in this vision of a spaceship, imagining like the fuselage of a spaceship, and I can see through the spaceship and I can see the windows of the spaceship, and it's clear we're heading somewhere, and we're heading there fast, because instead of just seeing like planets coming past us slowly, there's just like this wash, like imagining going through a black hole type of vibe. And I see an entity standing kind of like in my field of vision, almost having itself completely cast in shadow. Like I can't see features because of how much light is coming through the windows of us infinitely flying in this direction. And I instantly have this feeling, this recognition that this is supposed to be God in my mind. Hey, Gateway, this is supposed to be God in my mind. And I see this entity, and the entity walks up to me and then goes into this little nook on the spaceship. Imagine like the spaceship had like a bubble on the side of it, and that bubble had like seats on the inside of it, and then there was like a small little table in the center of that bubble where you could like put something. And I see this entity approach and go inside the bubble and sit down. And I walk forward and I sit down with this entity, knowing it's God, right? Feeling I could ask God anything now. And I sit there in silence. Complete silence. And in that silence, my ego starts getting louder and louder where I'm like, yeah, yeah, I could, ask anything right now, but I'm not going to. And then I articulate to this entity, I'm not going to ask you anything because I trust completely, I say. I trust completely. And I see this, like, good, good, good that you trust completely. And I get up, all chuffed, And as soon as I get up and walk out of the bubble again, I see into the window and I see this rushing. And I look back and I go, where are we going? And I start laughing. I instantly start laughing, where I'm like, I just said that I trust completely. Like just now, like a seconds ago, I said I trust completely. And then I get up and I see my world falling apart, right? And then I ask, where are we going? And he answers me. Still, he answers me. And he looks me in the eyes and he says, you are here. You are here, right? Where are we going? You are here. We're not going anywhere. We're here. That's where we're going. That's where we've been going our whole lives, is here. Is exactly here. And it's a little bit much for us sometimes to accept because we have this linear progressive experience as human beings where we're like, oh yes, do thing, this dopamine cycle, rat racing ourselves, chasing the next thing, setting the goalposts further and further away for our own happiness, not realizing that we are here. This thing that we're seeking was and always has been this moment. It's hard to accept sometimes. It's hard to accept most of the time, especially when where we are doesn't feel great necessarily right now, The experience might feel like it's falling apart around us, and it can be like this trip of not wanting to accept that that's where we're supposed to be. Remember, we're talking about Gyapyatia messing up the summary of recipes, left eggs out. Yeah. I said remove all necessary information to the process of making the recipe. Eggs didn't make the cut. It was like, yeah, who needs it anyway? You can make cakes without eggs, I believe, but you're going to have to add other things. I woke up wanting to tell you how wonderful of a human you are, sister. Something in the universe told me that you needed to hear it. You're a beautiful blessing to the world around you. Thank you, Joe Schmo, for echoing that love to our beloved Shan. I can 100% agree with you on that, Fractal. Shell saying, hey Shell, I've said hi, but hi again. Yesterday, my social anxiety fell apart, disintegrated in the midst of a wonderful IRL conversation with two other flashbacks. Is that all we're getting? That's enough, I guess. I'm curious as to how you processed it. Did you happen to melt yourself together again after falling apart? I was in a hurry. I'm a very good baker. I trusted GPT because Mel tells me to. No, I'm not telling you to trust GPT. I'm telling you to use it as a tool, right? Like your tool might tell you, okay, like your GPS might tune you, keep driving straight. Keep driving straight, and you're heading towards a cliff. Keep driving straight, and you're like, but there's a cliff up ahead. And it's like, keep driving straight, and you're like, well, guess the robot's telling me to keep driving straight. Damn it. Gotta use some brains, some responsibility needs to be taken too. How did you notice that when you were throwing it all together, you didn't think it was strange that this cake recipe didn't include a binding agent? Some no sleep, mixed with anxiety and time constraints. Have you known me long? Use barefoot contest next time, baby. I don't know what that means. Don't be discouraged. Today is a new day, and you learn a thing or two tomorrow. You've been strong, and you'll grow bigger still. Exactly. Thank you, Jovan, for echoing that love to our beloved Shell. Doc, I did that missing egg thing live on our pen stream. The cake did fall apart. More falling apart. Barefoot is too advanced for me. All the recipes is what came first. I wonder what's happening again right now. Why do I feel so lost in today's stream? Learning a thing or two from yesterday, and I'll be learning new things tomorrow too. Yes, I mean, again, right? You might, and this is a part of my woo woo. I believe there are parts of me that are existing in the future right now, sending information back to this person of me, right? Like, and that's like, so. Okay, the closest I can get to a story to explain this feeling. It was a weekend that we were planning to go and camp together, me and my friends, and we had some really pure tabs that we got, from a very reliable source, and we decided that we're going to take these tabs at this camping site. And I decided to prepare food for us, and I was like cooking in the kitchen, and then suddenly there came this experience over me of like extreme psychedelic consideration, right? Like my frame of reference completely melting away. And I was like, oh, what am I doing? I am personing in a room right now that we call kitchen to make food for ourselves this weekend coming, And there was this deep experience of, oh my goodness, what's happening right now? And then we went to that like camping site and we had the experience. And then during this experience, I had a moment where I thought about that version of me. And as soon as I thought about that version of me, I could experience that version of me in the past to my future self in that moment, tripping out because I'm sending this energy. And yeah, I haven't done, I've done similar things, but not quite as visceral. So yeah, you're learning things in your tomorrow that you are implementing today. It might feel like you're falling apart sometimes with all of that information, but it is good. I meant in a very positive way that the anxiety fell apart and went away instead of being a big, chunky, sticky thing that would follow me home. Even better, Shell. I, I also misinterpreted the way you sent the message. I think you didn't give us enough context, maybe. Yes, I'm good, Shell. The thing didn't fall apart. It was just dense AF. Maybe that's good. I kind of like brownies, so maybe dense AF cake's a good thing. Joe, it's too early to cry. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to say that to me, friend. Your presence and loving thoughts and words are always felt and returned to you. Love is true. Thank you so much for echoing that as well. I love you so much for encouraging me so lovingly, Joe. So true. Mel, disgusting breakfast is the only nasty food I justify eating sometimes. It's good for the soul. I'm a southern boy that's been out of his element, and I needed to get a few months of the oil lifespan. I'm not judging, Brother Bear. I'm the same. I'm the same. I I understand so completely. That and I'm so glad we have a small community. It is pleasant, right? And I feel like it will remain at least the original community, right? Like us as the original community will never go away. Like you friends will always and forever be the original community that we formed here. Is that a gobbledygoo I saw in chat? Yo! You bobbity skabow! Skibibbity! Thump! Pippi just left me. She was like, bro, don't you skibobbity me, oh. Don't you yibippity skibow. Sklobow. Don't you do that. Sits by herself. Is like, yeah, I'm gonna sit here instead. You freaking weirdo. Skabow! You must come out! Skibbity mama, let's come out! Yeah, let's come out, let's come out! Just completely ignoring me now. Come on, Pippi. Come on, Pippi, look at me. Look at me, Pippi. Look at me. Look at me. Just like, bro, I know. Like she's doing the same thing I do with her sometimes when she like barks unnecessarily at things. And then she comes to me being like, did I do good? And I'm like, no, you didn't do good. You were barking at nothing again. And now I'm skibobbly ball barking at nothing. And she's like, I can't get her attention though. I can do this. The way she looked at me. I was like, I was thinking about blowing on her again, and she was like, Don't you do that, bro? What are you doing to me right now? Okay, fine. Bought a pocket knife to school and left it in the book bag and told to spread the word to the classmates like a rumor, acting worried I'll get in trouble, hoping I get sent home. That's kind of hilarious, dude. Pepe is like, come on, dude, do that thing where you give me attentions. Masha, 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 masha. Masha, 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 kiss, masha, kiss. Oh, masha, 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 masha. Okay. I think I've missed a few. Pepe, you sweetie patootie. You can sit on my lap, but I can't be paying attention to you and all of these modes of consciousness at the same time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mush, 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 mush. Mush, 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 mush. Do not like. I actually changed the setting that I cannot like that they shouldn't be hidden anymore. Show me. Dixie licked my face during Downward Dog, and it was awesome. Dogs for the win. Pippi is like, come on, dude, do that. Come on, come on, do that thing where you give me attentions. Come on, come on, come on, do it. Come on, do it. So needy, always so needy. I need more. I'm gonna give more, more. You need more loves. Come on, do it, do it. Disgusting crap. Boulder tolerance. Shelby. I feel like I'm so far behind that I'm rushing to get through them. Melty boy, I love you as I love you too, Keval. Delivery is easy, but cooking is so worthwhile. It can be, like you can make it a process and you can enjoy that process. It can become a part of your schedule. But I feel like it has to be in that case, like a part of your schedule. You have to do it mindfully. Be like, yes, during this time I cook for myself. And I actually do intermittent fasting, only eating one meal a day, so that I don't have to cook for myself multiple times. Makes it a little bit easier as well. Yes, Kristen, I don't exercise and eat healthy to live longer. I exercise and eat healthy to make up the difference for orgasmic soul happiness or fried chicken wrapped around a waffle. That does sound nice. I don't get to have orgasmic soul happiness of fried chicken wrapped in waffles. I do exercise and eat healthy to live longer. I'm guilty as charged. I I have a I have a dream to see our species become interplanetary. Properly become interplanetary. Now I don't think I can do that if I don't live long. So I'm like, yeah, let's try at least. Middle East egg dish. Melt is a dryer boy. Getting dressed in hot clothing. You don't knock it until you've tried it. Damn it. If it's cold as outside and you have hot clothing that you can put on your body, it feels like you're putting on my. I had to stop my mouth before it said the words. Preface. This might be weird. It feels like putting on something that's already alive, or it used to be. That's horrific. Why would I say something like that? Well, I guess that because that's what it feels like. It's just like, oh yes, something's hugging me right now. My clothing is already hot. Okay, well, I love shashkushka. My wife and I make lots of curries and masala, and we always take the leftover masala sauce or the curry and poach eggs and make shashushka hybrids the next morning. So good. That does sound nice. Food chats again. Thrilled about the flour remedies. As a matter of fact, I'm happy to hear that. Like Shan shared some more of the synchrony with me that I've been going through taking the new remedy, and it's eerie how accurate those things are. Like it's straight up like it's even more accurate to the experience I've been having than like you can have with like astrology or numerology. It's like very personal, the things you go through when you start taking these remedies. My first job was working in a hotel laundry. I would hug and snug the warm sheets and my coworkers weren't looking. Yes. Yes. One of us. One of us. It's like on the application form. It's like, do you hug warm laundry? No? No, no, no. I didn't. Don't worry about Don't worry about the X. Do you like dressing in warm clothing? No? No, don't worry. Don't worry about me Xing. That's no problem. We just. Do you roll around in them too? I would. Also, Mel just said, Daddy, OnlyFans when Mel. Never. The only people who get to see me naked are the people that I choose, right? That's gonna be the way it is, unfortunately. Not because I'm shy, right? In fact, I see like I understand the whole body positivity thing, but it's also a level of intimacy, I guess. Yeah, yeah, it has to be intimate. Otherwise, it won't be genuine. Bro, the amount of ways I tricked my mom and brother out of getting me to school. I've always been allergic to school, dude. I would just, during the midst of school, I would tune one of my teachers. I have a headache. And they would send me to the office to like get an aspirin or something. And then I would tell the lady who gives me an aspirin, I want to lay down on the sick bed. I probably shouldn't have wanted to. Now in hindsight, now really thinking about the full implications. Maybe I have the immunity I have. I don't get sick a lot, fortunately. Maybe that's how it happened. Me not wanting to be at school, pretending I'm sick, sleeping in the bed they made for all of the other sick kids. And I was just chilling. I would be like, I would push myself into like late AM hours, staying awake before I had to go to school because I knew as soon as I go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up and I have to go to school again tomorrow. So I would just stay up for as long as I could, and then I would either sleep in class or I would pretend I'm sick and then go and sleep in the infirmary. School was not good for me. Melt OnlyFans would just be pics of positive affirmations and puppies. Exactly. You know, maybe a flower or two, maybe like a shirtless pic. You know, if you're really lucky. But that's as far as it would go. I live in Florida and use a tiny cute heater for my bathroom and a towel warmer. And I don't love the cold breeze as I step out of the shower. Yeah, that's pretty rough. I used to do the same as hell, Diana, but I only have one heater and I usually keep it in my office because I spend a lot of my time there, and doing it in like swapping them is too much of a hassle, especially since it takes like time for the room to heat up properly. So I stopped doing that as well. I just embrace. Amazing. Blows my mind that the flower remedies aren't more widely known. Thank you for sharing them with others. Thank you for being a medicine mother, Shan. I used to live in a house that had a bathroom heater, Diana. It was great in winter. I missed you all so much. We're here, always, Diana. I can no more than a thought away as well, right? You don't even have to be in this space for us to be here with you. Me too. I'm so with you, Diana. I have such an intense reaction to temperature changes. I know, like you lots. Me too, Isaac. Had such a hard time waking up in the morning. My dad would wake me up, feet on the floor. Then I would not listen. He would get mad and pull the legs out of the floor. Yep, I have been thrown with water, not wanting to get up in the mornings. I have to untraumatize myself with all of this school bullshit. Used to save my cash. I tried to bribe buses and teachers to let me go. Sometimes I'd sneak out during recess or just sit in the stall until someone would come for me. I was fine waking up. I was just the structure of school and the teachers and the homework. My poor grandma got conned into helping, aka doing much of my homework. I was such a little shit to school. I don't think so, dude. I just think you understood from a deep intrinsic level that that's not indicative of human growth. It's indicative of a slave system that we have been conditioned to participate in. And, right? It's like, nah. I don't actually want to be slave. How about that? It's almost like we know what it's like being slaves as humanity, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And we're like, why am I doing all of this? Oh, because you said so, right? This whole understanding that we've been conditioned as well of like having to respect elders, right? And I agree, respect elders, but the amount of disrespect that some of these elders have projected onto me, huh, puppy? Yeah, so much disrespect. And then their disrespect is met with you having to respect them for their disrespect. Can you believe that, Pepe? Can you believe that? Can you believe it? No, I cannot believe it either. A little entity. Oh, Pepiki, Pepiki. How about we just respect? Yeah. How about you respect us and then do what we tell you to do? Why? Because I said so. Why are you saying so? Because I've been told to say so. Who told you to say so? Oh, this person. Who told them to tell you to say so? I was not popular as a child at school. I would just not accept and be like, yeah, I get that this is what you want me to do. But how about no? How about I don't want to? How about I don't feel it serves me? Love is true. School didn't teach me how to love people. And I feel like that's the reason that I couldn't get behind it as well. It taught me to hate people, in fact. Right? If school taught me anything, it taught me to hate people. It taught me to hate my teachers, taught me to hate my fellow classmates because they were competing with me for the top 10, taught me to lie, taught me to lie really well because I didn't want to do the things they told me to do. It told me how to break rules. It told me how to make excuses. Told me how to feel frustrated. Yeah. I'm hoping school falls apart with the new AI revolution. It's probably going to, don't you think, Pepe? Hmm? You think school's gonna fall apart? The poor kids, yeah. Hundreds of years of brain damage that has been induced. So crazy. But it does make sense because it's convenient as a parent to just send your kids to school instead of having to take care of them. So I'm not really surprised that it happened the way that it did. Are you? Are you surprised? Oh my goodness, with the same, I would bring so much lip chap to school and make lip chap art in the bathroom stall. It would end up being so thick before they found it. That is so cursed. That is like the most cursed lip chap art. I used to take like my glue and then rub my thumb on the glue side and then do this. And then you would make these little strings and then you would add it to the bottom of your glue because it had like a cavity. You would keep reversing it. Some of you friends are having a core memory unlock right now. Yeah. You want to get off of me? There you go. Especially because I was good at work. I would spend half of the time being a con artist doing homework. Yeah, I was good enough. I was good enough to be told how much potential I have and how smart I am, and how if only I applied myself, I could also be one of the top performing students and get good number. Yeah, don't you want good number? And I'm like, what good number do? Oh, your parents will be proud of you. You'll get into a good school. I'm like, yeah, and then you'll get to work a good job. I'm like, yeah, and then you'll get to retire after working your whole life. I'm like, and then you'll get to suffer. Falling apart. It has to fall apart, right? Like, surely it has been falling apart for a while now. This system that we've been sold, this story of what success is supposed to look like, it's so absurd. It's the thing that bothers me, and I keep coming back to it. Like, I don't know how it's possible that we got that far. Like, how it's possible that we allowed that to happen, and how we keep allowing it to happen as the self. Is Kristen leaving? So much love to you. I'm working for a bit. We love you. Kristen, thank you for joining us for as long as you did, dear friend. We'll see you again soon. I'm missing so many people. What do people think about the whistleblower UFO guy with the body cam footage of the backyard crash? I didn't see that one yet. What the fuck? I have the exact same knife story, but the teach took it away from me at recess and look at me like, stop telling everyone. It's like, you're not gonna get sent home, right? Like, you're gonna have to stay here, even if you have knives. Brings a butcher knife next time. It's like, yeah, now I got knife too. Why aren't you sending me home, please? I want to go home. I believe so. The 911 call about the crash and the creature, and multiple police came, saw it on their body cams. The ship, at least. Maybe I should look at it. I'm curious as well. I think it's a distraction from the real UFO disclosures going on in the committee hearings. UFOs are real, right? Unidentified flying objects. There are flying objects in our sky space that we do not know what they are. We do not have the technology to travel the way that they do. If we had the technology, if we could move the way they do, whoever is inside of those ships would get turned to goo. Like, they would literally be pulverized into wet mush with the amount of G-force those things are producing. Like, whatever they got, right? If aliens wanted to kill us all, we would long be dead. So clearly that's not their objective. They're not here to cure us. They're probably just here to watch. They're like, what are you glaring at? What is there to glare at? Hmm? I don't see anything. I don't see nothing. You want to see what I've been looking at this whole time? I don't know if the light's gonna be good, but the cows have been shenaniganizing. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You see, they're like running up those hills, and some of them are like, hey, look at that dude. Runs up and slowly walks down again. What are they doing? It's like those four homies that have been doing it look like they're having fun, I guess. So I've been like, what's going on there? What are you doing, Cass? Okay, Melty, you encompass so much wisdom. No, stop. I know nothing. Oh, like, all I know is that love is true. That's the one. That's the one thing I'll say that I do know. The rest is speculation at this point, bro. Your ability to see through the veil of societal margins is refreshing and replenishing to the spirit. Thank you for doing this, my friend. Thank you for allowing me to. Brother Joe, I see you, dude. Thank you for seeing me too, man. It's refreshing to know that I'm not just seen as an insane person, because I do feel a deep concern that I've lost it long time ago, where I'm like, am I actually insane? Do people see me and watch me for entertainment because of how insane I am? Right? It's like, oh, look, the jester is twirling his stick again, and I'm like, oh. And then I read comments like that, and it brings me back to the world. It grounds me, reminds me that there is actually love in this space. Of course, I'm sharing the extreme of the ego mind's perspective. It's not the way that it is, but it's refreshing in your words to see that that is a vaster perspective of this experience, the other side. I kept waiting for my anxiety to kick in, but it just didn't. Every time I needed a clear social cue, they gave me the cues like, tell us more. I can't stop thinking about the missing anxiety. It's kind of refreshing, huh? It's like, oh wow, this experience I used to have of like feeling inadequate, worrying that I'm gonna say something stupid, worrying that I'm not going to be cool to this person that I'm talking to. Just none of that exists right now. And I am allowed to be present. I'm just allowed to be lovingly present in this moment. And it's almost foreign for us to feel that way sometimes. It's like a state of confusion that arises within us, you know, when we get to be that way again. I still say gamers been eating good. I'm happy that if Bethesda could get it off the star, whatever. I'm gonna go and use Inside Voice again. Admin. God powers over the small world. Gmod. Skibabity, dude. It's nice having you again. Red the Bear sending lovin's. Yes, TTT. Would experience the freaking true game physics for the first time. And it blew my mind. Another wholesome, loving deity has entered the chat, as always. Two of them, in fact. Gateway being here as well, in tandem. Pippi's inability to just kind of like make a decision is driving me insane a little bit. Can you decide where you want to be? You choose. It's probably going to be like 20 seconds before she gets up again and growls at something. It's my face. True, my dogs use me as a jungle gym when I'm doing yoga. And you got big dogs, dude, and them nails are sharp. Oh, the amount of strength you have to probably practice, you know, to not be in extreme pain when they're jungle gymming you. Thank you, Dad, for becoming the best playground. That's horrific. Why would I say something like that? Oh, the getting dressed in something alive. It is pretty horrific. I don't know. Like sometimes I start articulating a point, and then like the narrative goes in front of me, and then the part of me that's aware notices where this narrative is going, and I'm like, bro, what's happening here? I mean, you can't say shit like that. Dude. Stop saying don't. And then I have to preface, and then I still say it because that's kind of comical that the mind can come up with something like that. My dog just sits under me, so I can't go down into cobras. My hair dangles, so my cat frantically attacks it. Yoga is a harrowing process. That's true yoga. That's true yoga, Isaac. When you have like the doggos or children or the world pulling at your mind, being like, no, do this thing instead. No, actually, you should be doing this. Actually, you should be paying attention to this. And you can still stay in that mindful space. Breathing. Then you're practicing true yoga. Right, Mal? I was like, whoa. What I was reading about that remedy, I was straight up tripping out. I'm still tripping out. Like, there are things that I haven't made clear on stream that was encapsulated in that message you sent me. I miss French toast sticks. No, it's okay. Thank you. Anyway, I remember the French toast sticks. Dang, I just realized food prepping got me distracted today. Oh yeah, the cold water bucket over the curtains of the shower. If I was lollygagging. Yeah, that's horrible, dude. That's so horrible, bro. It's like, no, don't do that. Oh, it's raining. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Oh. Suddenly, the water falleth. Thank you, universe, for the water. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the blessings. Okay. Then was it to be electronics. Got my stick. Got my glass of water. I'll stand here until I see the, there we go. Water ripple. I got some rainwater on my grass as well. Blessings. Blessing all of the rains here in Africa. Yeah, it's getting kind of cold now as well. Can you see the goosebumps? Maybe. Bless the rains down in Africa. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Shan, are you ready for off-world clients outside of this group? My new friends were pretty interested for themselves, and I would be very happy to send them to you. Please, please. Like I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm sure that Shan would love that. I feel like that's exactly what is necessary right now. Like I'm sure, she already mentioned to you, like, yeah, I think I am. There we go. I would feel better if they knew beforehand that I'm not officially certified and registered yet, but I would happily be grateful for anyone you can send my way. Do you have to be in order to help people? How long do you have before you're officially registered? Is there like a financial thing? Do you have to like pay a bunch of money before you can get registered? Good, you can send my love. Part of me feels angry that that might be the way it has to be, right? Like I guess, and that's the thing. The biggest thing that's limiting that whole experience is just I want to say dogmatic side of it. Maybe not even dogmatic. Multi-layered maybe as well. The expectations, I guess. There's a bunch of layers there. But I'm sure you've gone through it as well, Shan. You're also like, yeah, there are these things, but also they actually work. So, yes, we can't have it all, right? How about, oh my goodness, I get that too, Isaac. But it was just a joke that my dad would do a cup of cold water over the shower and then turns the lights off and then shuts the door. Yeah, it's so funny. Wow, it's hilarious, having myself traumatized. So funny. Oh, I love it when I can't, feel secure when I'm naked and trying to have a shower. Well, when an older person uses the word respect, as in respect me and I'll respect you, what they're saying is treat me like an authority figure or I will treat you, or I won't treat you like a human being. Exactly. And that's what I've noticed over and over again as a child as well. Is like, yeah, you have to respect me. I'm like, what does respect mean to you, dude? Right? Respect to me means that we treat each other as valued individuals, right? Respect doesn't mean I have to listen to everything you say because you said so. At least not to me. And I just wouldn't. And they couldn't get me to. No matter how much they tried, no matter how much detention they sent me to, they could not break me. You have to learn, memorize the intricacies of analyzing poetry, or you will not be able to survive. And if you don't do as good as we want on every facet of human education, you'll be poor. So get good, kid. Yeah, I'm really thankful I decided at a young age that I decided I'm successful, not a letter. The best part is I wouldn't sit still, so I get meth. Exactly. Yeah, ADHD medication is like, oh, I see you're having a hard time being fascinated by the nonsense being spewed at your face. Have you tried drugs? Have you tried drugs that make everything more interesting? Hmm? Oh, sure. And you can take it every day for the rest of your life. And it will potentially completely ruin your, dopamine systems to the point where you can't survive without them. Isn't that great? Make you a customer for life. Falling apart. I think I am, Shell. Thank you again. What's your solution after school fell apart? Children have to learn to read, write, and math. Parents can teach children how to read, write, and do math. My parents taught me how to read and write before I went to school. I don't know if math was that big of a thing, but reading and writing was a big one. Like your parents can teach you how to, right? And then it's going to be an AI assistant. Every single one of us is going to have a teacher of our own, and it's going to become more and more specialized as you do, right? At least that's the way I see the future of education. So much love to all of you again, Kristen. Blessings to you, dear friend. Yeah, the problem I see is because adults are forced to work so much that there's no way they can stay home enough to care or educate kids. Exactly, right? So it becomes a convenience thing to send your kids to a school system. It's like almost like a last resort. Like, what are you supposed to do, right? It's not like you can just leave them at home. Like that's illegal as well, apparently. I plan to put in the work and do basic K9 grade education myself. There we go. Training daggers. Sounds like a vibe, actually. Friends, I'm deciding to have a good attitude about work today. I'm lucky to have a challenging and rewarding job. I'm part of a team, and the good outweighs the negative. Yes, and that's some positive affirmations that I like reading. Blessings to you on that journey, Shell. Even more love to you. Love, Kristen. Hey, can't lose it if you are it. You can just forget. It's like water in a bottle, then being dumped on the ground, then becoming a cloud. The water didn't lose itself. It's just not shaped like a bottle right now. You were like cold water dumped on you, unknowing it's horrible. The sky said, hold my beer, bruh. It's like, oh yeah, you think it's bad? Watch this, dude. Blankets of cold all over the space. Can't run away from it unless you get underneath the roof. No, I don't have to be certified to help people now. Good. I actually finally meeting with my assessor on Thursday. She sent me the assignment for me to work on till I feel I'm com- until I feel I've completed them and meet with her again. Okay, so it's closed in that case, Shan. I'm happy to hear that. It's so cool that you have friends wanting to bring you more clients as well. They do work, and I'm like probably the worst person to try and give something to that is a little bit on the non-traditional side because I don't even take real medication, Like if I have a headache, I won't take something that will help me with that headache. I'll be like, no, no, I'm not gonna take medication. I don't need it kind of vibe. And then Shan reached out to me and she asked whether or not I want to actually take these remedies. And in my gut, without actually verbalizing it, I had this experience of skepticism where I'm like, okay. And then I start taking these remedies and things fall apart. And I have the opportunity as the self to kind of like rebuild myself based on the things that I want to be. Like the way that she's explaining to me is like you're literally putting frequencies in your body, that our earth and the flowers that she grows have different frequencies inside of them, right? Like you can think of it like a DNA thing as well. And even your mind runs on a type of frequency, and the type of frequency your mind runs on depicts or explains the type of state that you're in, the type of mood that you're in. If you're just waking up, for example, you're probably, hey Google, what brainwave state are you in when just waking up? I think it's gamma. Sorry, I didn't understand. Think harder. Theta. Yeah, theta waves. So when you initially wake up, your brain first drifts through theta waves and then through alpha waves. So you've noticed when you're in that theta wave brain state, you don't really want to be asked complicated math-based questions. Like if someone wants to mess with you, they can like say some random bullshit. Like, oh no, the radiator just lifted its skirt and is running through the mud. And you'll be like, yeah, checks out, dude. I hate it when it does that. It's like, wait a second, the fuck just happened? And those are like frequencies, right? Energy states that your being can occupy. And then these frequencies, flowers, being a part of them, have different frequencies as well. And then you put those frequencies in your body. Different frequencies have different effects. It has been quite interesting to me to notice how these experiences change me little by little, drop by drop, essentially. With her, the only true phobia is spiders. My mom's trailer dealt with a lot of roaches and spiders when I was young, so when I'd visit, I'd rip off all the sheets of the bed in the middle and not sleep. So when I was home with my dad's, I felt much safer, and my brother loved to leave realistic toy fuzzy spiders in my bed while I slept. Oh, if we could only have extreme empathetic foresight. K9 meaning kindergarten to high school education, Melty, not dogs. I see the confusion though. Yep. I I reserve the right to say I didn't make a mistake. But thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that part at least. I was wrong in this context, but K9 still to me means dog, right? Canines. Okay, people are stupid. My mom is sharp and wise and absolutely helped me with my schoolwork, but I'd be the village idiot if she was my sole teacher. Again, Joy, your sole teacher is going to become an AI assistant. I feel the future is going to be significantly more specialized than it is right now. How it is right now is cookie cutter, right? Yeah, we're gonna let you cookie cut in this way, or you're gonna cookie cut in that way, right? Like where we ask people, what do you want to be when you grow up? And how many different answers can you give? All right? How many different answers, like realistically, can you give? Like, sure, there are a lot of jobs, but within infinity, a lot of jobs is still nothing. And I believe the future is going to be a lot more individualized when it comes to your role as a person. Instead of just being a thing, right, that you can name, you might have a whole plethora of roles that you fill that cannot be determined. Like, for instance, me, right? If someone had to ask me, what do? I teach yoga, I write poetry, I make art, I do these streams, you know. I want to now, going into the future, start doing staging where I create these beautiful, psychedelic, stages for these festivals for people to have their brains melted. So, in a single word, what am I? Right? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think it's going to be as simple in the future as like, oh, I do this one thing and that's what I am. That's who I am. It's going to be a little bit more vast than that. My dad was smart, but he would just yell at me if I didn't pick up a concept fast enough. Yeah, my dad too, unfortunately. I tried to study math with my dad a few times, but it was a nightmare. Fair enough, Joy. I can only hope that kids being able to experience life outside of the bubble of school more often could at least prepare them more to be good peeps. Exactly. Teach kids cognitive behavioral therapy, please. No, 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 no. I don't think, really, though, let's abolish. I don't think you've really thought out this let's abolish school fractal. Oh, I have, Joy. I have extensively, right? The school system as it is right now conditions you to be a slave, right? And I know that word has a lot of horrible attachment to it, but that's really how I see it, right? It teaches you how to sit in a box. It teaches you how to ask permission to use your own bodily functions, right? When you go to the bathroom, ask permission, right? That's slave. It teaches you how to remain in a space for an extended period of time without being able to escape, right? You don't have any autonomy. You don't get to choose where you want to go next. Where you go next has already been predetermined for you. You get to have a break, a small little break as a sliver of all of the rest of the work that you do, right? Because they have to give you a break. If they didn't have to give you a break, they wouldn't. Like I'm 100%. I've thought this through a trillion times over. It's brain damage of the highest degree. And it's 12 years of your life, the most formative years of your life, the most formative years of your life that we're brain damaging our children towards during. Like, yeah, like I'm not gonna back down on that one either. I get the whole implications of taking care of the children. I get the whole implications of, how we're going to teach them. But things are changing, Joy. And the school system as it is right now is not going to remain. That's probably going to be one of the first things that melts away, in fact. It's going to fall apart, right? It's going to fall apart 100%. 100%. Meld Gates Primary School. Gets, fair enough. Like, at least for me, up until the end of high school, that system went unchanged. We even had to dress in a certain way. Like, we weren't allowed Hates Primary School. Nope. Old school. Old school. Like, even like the last of our high school period, we were still forced to be dressed in like school uniforms right? Stripping us of our individuality as well. Like, I wasn't allowed to grow my hair longer than 4 centimeters, right? Stripping me of my own bodily autonomy to accessorize myself. Like, it's brain damage. Like, and it makes me viscerally angry just thinking about it. Like, I'm getting triggered. Some things you have to just try for yourself to believe and understand. Exactly. I was sold a long time ago on the flower remedies, but after using them with Jeffrey in his last days, it was solidified, giving him that calm that he needed as well. You are all still at it. Is Mel trying to justify why eggs are important to AI? No. I'm justifying why the school system is going to be abolished in no time. You know, with the coming AI revolution. That's real. They're real and they do, yeah, 100%. Do that festival decorating thing sounds like a brilliant idea. I have trouble every day trying to describe what I do. Sometimes even I don't know. You create, bro. Maybe that's what we should say. Right? When someone asks us what we do, we just say, I create. Oh, what do you create? Oh, where do I start? Where do I start? What's most important to you? You've asked the person. Oh, this thing. Oh, yeah, I create that as well, I guess. You are expression. We are expression. Period. Suddenly a weird noise. Period. As a whole, together, we are an ocean. As individuals, we are currents which push the water into a direction. There are violent expressionists and calm. We are just moving the big, all gelatinous hall around. Agreed. I think so many talents are lost in the school because kids are so bottlenecked and they get good at test taking. Educational reform is so needed. Agreed. Completely. Please study childhood development and then you can tell me what children need. So let me ask it this way, Joy. When you go in Google, school makes me, and you see the results, most search, or why do I feel like school, and you see the results, are they majority positive or negative, right? So I don't feel I need to study childhood development in order to know that children feel horrible in the current school system. And I feel it's more important for our children to actually feel like they're valued individuals instead of just more batteries to be thrusted into the economy so that they can produce more value for an economy that doesn't value them. Right? Like, it's not a childhood development thing. It's a individual person thing. Being a person. Never mind being a child. Joy. Anti-nationalist advocates like hell for the kids. Irony much. That's pure love, Joy, in my opinion. I get you. I was lucky my grandma, for his good goof off days, she would take us to cool historical places or restaurants and have us interact with adults, show us what life looks like, not school. Yeah. And also, Joy, you do realize the rich of the rich, the people living in the, ooh, beautiful, upper echelons of society, they do not send their kids to public school, right? For a reason. For a good reason, in fact. Right? Not because there is, nothing wrong with the school system, because they know for a fact, yeah, I don't want to send my kid to that hellscape, like that's probably not good for them. Did you enjoy school? Maybe. Who am I to say? And the day I attribute that is why most people are amazed at how I can communicate compared to lots of my peers. I think education is important and we have to fill the gap left by school, but the way we're doing it is not conducive to a happy society, period. Agreed. I loved school. I felt like you did. It's very easy, right? It's very easy. It's probably the easiest thing you can do as a child. Even high school, right? Right? Because you still know what you're supposed to do. That's not how life works, right? You're developing children in a way that is counterintuitive to how life works, right? You're teaching children how to be obedient instruction followers. And then you gauge how good they followed your instructions based on a numbering system, reducing them to a number, reducing their intellect, reducing their abilities to a number. That is not good for anybody, right? That is why we're faced with the problems we're faced with right now. That's why we have this class divide, is because we're convinced that how many number you have means how good person you are. I mean, no, no, it's not so. It's brain damage. Stop the brain damage. I go with Gardener for the stars. I love that, dude. Sorry, didn't understand your last comment, Shell. I'm also not exactly sure what it meant. I felt love though. My best friends are teachers. They're so discouraged after so many funding cuts and the school board working for profit rather than progression. Yeah, it's a business again, right? It's like they don't care about what it is they're doing, about the value they're trying to provide to the individual children. It's how much number they can make, because that's how they've been conditioned to see themselves, to see what is valuable. It starts with getting A's or B's or C's on your report, and then it progresses into money, right? Like it's a step, it's like a building up to brain damage yourself. And then you can do it forever unless you stop. Love this duck. Gardener for the stars. I love it too. I've been the same. It's been the same standardized test questions for decades, never reviewed for relevance. Just seeing that even though having kids isn't your thing, you have concern for kids nonetheless. It is beautiful. I agree completely. Thank you for echoing that sentiment. I see you, Joy, and I love that you are sharing your perspective in this as well. It is only creating more frequency resonance. This needs to fall apart. This needs to fall apart, right? I do believe that it needs to fall apart. It's killed more kids than anything. Just think about that. The school system as it is right now has killed more children than anything, right? I, as a child, wanted to kill myself because I had to go to school and I had to go and mingle with peers who were not like me. And I was bullied because I wasn't fitting in and I wasn't performing in the way that I was ought to, right? I wasn't living up to my potential. It made me want to kill myself, right? Any system that makes children want to kill themselves needs to melt. No, you cannot convince me otherwise, right? Sure, I don't know all the answers, but there are people who are much more intelligent than me who would advocate for the same exact thing, saying that the school system as it is not serving. If you judge every animal's intelligence on how it climbs a tree, a fish will live its whole life thinking it's an idiot. I believe that was an Einstein quote, even. Kids, I don't have dogs either, but I care about their well being. I love school until high school. Children need to learn how to be obedient. If not, life won't go so well for them. You did offend me if you were calling me anti nationalist, because I'm not calling you names. I don't know if that was the intention. I think she was saying anti-nationalists advocate like hell for kids, which is ironic, right? I don't think she was calling you an anti-nationalist. It's a matter of perspective, interpretation, I guess. Children need to learn. Again, I don't think so. Children don't need to be taught how to be obedient. They need to be taught how to think for themselves. They need to be taught how to reason appropriately, and they need to be taught how to problem solve, right? And I don't believe even that following instructions or being obedient is indicative of people that can reason. Like even the people who set up the educational system was like literally, like, and I think this is like a quote that I'm going to like probably paraphrase a little bit, but he said, I do not want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers, right? I don't want people thinking for themselves. I want slaves. And that's why they created the educational system as it is right now. Schools gave me the perfect environment for anorexia to develop. Yep, same. For me, it was just, getting overweight and then being pestered for that as well. Crippled my dreams to the point of giving up on my passion for performance and art because you were told that that's not valuable and you will not make a living doing that. And I just now figuring out how to relearn dreams. Exactly. I have had friends who didn't have kids because they don't like children. So I didn't assume. People who don't like kids have kids all the time is also true. Is also true. All on these talks are great. It would be pointless talk if we all agreed here. Learning and change only happens when we oppose our ideas, and we go over the details together. Exactly. I'm not feeling angry at any of you friends. I'm just feeling angry at the system, right? The educational system as it is right now. That's the part that is enraging me. But none of you friends had your hands in creating it, so it would be misplaced of me to project anger at you for the system that is. But defending the system that is going to get me to react in a certain way, right? Pointless talk. Education is important, but individualized education is more important. Exactly. You can't force a fish to climb a tree. And if you look at the top performing students, those who perform the best are the ones who are individually educated. And again, what I'm saying is that there's going to be an AI model, even Khan Academy, already. It already exists. This AI model I'm talking about, Joy, already exists. Khan Academy has like an AI model attached to its lessons, right? Like I feel that's going to be the future of school much more than the traditional system is right now. So happy we showed up together for this. Everybody remember the tension created here is that of love. I don't feel any tension. My back feels a little bit tense, but I don't feel any tension with the space necessarily. I don't disagree that education needs a rehaul. I'm just saying your solution of parents to take care is not a solution. Joy, what I'm saying is we are going to change things, right? That the systems that we have in place right now are going to fall apart without a shadow of a doubt, right? Over the next 5 years, potentially 300 million jobs will be replaced by AI just in the next 5 years. 300 million. And then by the end of those 5 years, all of our robotic technology is going to be mature, which is going to replace a further few billion human beings, right? What are we going to do with ourselves when we're at home and there's no work for us to do because there's machines that can do it more effectively than we can? We're going to be at home. And if we're going to still have kids, then we're going to be in the perfect position to help them, right? That's what I'm saying. Maybe we can have like some sort of system, like a rudimentary kind of like space. You know, we can still keep the buildings that the school system, you know, used to be in, but the traditional let the kids sit in these boxes and then have one person trying to teach 50 children, you know, a lesson and then base them upon how good they number. That isn't going to be the future of school. Like it's impossible even. We had a fun Catholic religion class that I, along with 7 kids, were not allowed in because we weren't baptized. That come back with macaroni necklaces and paintings. I loved school, but I felt so left out and unimportant all the time. Unseen, just another cog in the machine. You know, and I believe that it's set up to make us feel that way. Never mind that it makes us feel that way. I believe it was designed, you know, maliciously to make us feel that way. Makes it easier to control those human beings as well. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm full of also the full structure of school. School has always felt like good workers, or more specific, good factory workers. Agreed, completely. I'm sorry, Joy. I didn't mean it negatively. I'm very sorry that I called you a name. You did? How dare you? How dare you, Shell? Obedience and love are not the same. Personally, I believe we must teach how it feels to be loved first and foremost. Not spoiled, but loved. Criminals are not stupid. Wrathful people are not evil. They haven't been shown what it feels like to love. Ramdas knew this well. Agreed. Two disenfranchised young criminal minds in a car park beside where your nan resides. They're not slow. They've just never been shown that they should be loving someone. We shouldn't have people afloat. If it were safer on the ground, we wouldn't be on a boat. Two lines from a wonderful song tattooed on my arm called Loving Someone. Oh, another. This is a long, but it applies well. Sorry for the length. No, Brother Bear, you don't have to apologize. My heart is telling me the telly isn't telling me anything I need, but it needs to keep selling me. Besides celebrities, lacking in integrity, holding up the status quo instead of showing me the kids that they matter. Who are they going to batter next? Keep holding their necks and keep selling them sex is better than keeping them perplexed. Dude, let's get this light a little bit more blue. Agreed, dude. Agreed. Like this system has been very finely tuned, and it's falling apart. It's clear. We can literally see it fall apart right in front of us right now, and it's just a matter of time at this point. Or stop holding my messages. Oh, you used the word sex, I think. It was like, no, you can't show sex. You can't say that word. It was a bad word. History has created too much of a dependence. Too much of a dependence on school in our society. Parents have forgotten how to parent. There should be 1,000,000 times more involved. Completely agreed. They already fell apart over COVID, and it's completely proved your parents our teacher theory doesn't work. Starting at a laptop all day wasn't working. Kids just checked out because they were still having garbage information projected at them. Joy. They didn't care about what they were learning. What I'm saying is, and I'm going to keep saying it, the future of education is letting kids teach themselves, right? And their AI model will be a guide in that process. It will be like a facilitator where, for instance, I am fascinated by philosophy and spirituality and the nature of being, the mystical. So if I was, as a child, given the opportunity to read all of the work, to be given access to the ideas that people before me have already considered, at this point in my life, I would be significantly more powerful, more educated in my ability to articulate the messages that I'm trying to share. The current system teaches you the same cookie cutter bullshit. And if you're a kid and there is cookie cutter bullshit being projected at your face, of course you're going to check out because you do not care. We need to give children something they care about. We need to extract that thing they care about from them from a young age, just discover what it is that brings their souls alive, and then give them access to a medium that they can explore into this soul calling they have. The system that is right now, the educational system that is right now, stunts that soul experience. It kills it. It curb stomps what you want in favor of what is needed of you. And that's evil, no matter how you slice it. The thunder is making me so happy as well, Shan. I feel like it's exactly what I need right now. My heart is telling me, the telly again, I thank you for that, dude. If you think kids shouldn't or do not need to be obedient, you see. And then it tells you haven't spent all significant time around children. Oh, I have, Joy. I was literally an English teacher for 1.5 years. I've probably spent more time around children than you have, right? I understand that it's nice as an ego perspective adult when children are obedient. It's not nice when children are losing their minds in your classroom. It's nice when they sit in their neat little rows and pay attention to you. It's nice for your ego, but it's not who they are. That's not what a child is, right? A child is a being that is literally exploring reality, little scientists. That's what a child is. And we need to equip those little scientists with the tools to explore this reality more effectively. We don't need to curb stomp them into being obedient so that we can feel good about ourselves. It's not what it's not how it's about. It really isn't. Believe me, okay, let me share this with you. For instance, Joy, if there's any system right now in the world that has this school system you're talking about right now perfected, it's China. Those kids, the kids I was teaching, 6, 7, 8 year olds, were having classes up until 8 p.m. at night. I saw 11 to 13 year olds with gray hair because of how tired they were, seeing absolutely no soul in their eyes, like they looked dead inside. And you're like, yeah, yeah, it works. No, it fucking doesn't. It does not work. It does not work. It kills people's souls. It works great for that. If you want something that kills people's souls, it's perfect for that. But that's not what we need. Not going into the future, not into the future we're going to be experiencing. Factory workers are becoming obsolete, right? A robot is significantly better equipped at being a factory worker than a person will ever be. Because a robot doesn't have to have feelings of its own. It doesn't care about doing the same repetitive task over and over again. A human being does. It does. Off to work. Love you, Shell. We'll see you again soon. So much, 100% here. Our youth is our future. Things will change. They will. Love you all. I'm off to the doc. I hope you get better soon. I hope he gives you some medicine, bro. If those kids weren't obedient, you wouldn't have been able to teach. And I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with you, Joy, but it's an ego thing. Again, right? My ego, the part of me that wants to be listened to, the part of me that wants to be respected, right? The authority version of me wants them to be obedient. The part of me that knows that they're infinite beings that have much more potential than I can even imagine, being obedient isn't serving that part of them, isn't serving the part of them that is divine. It's serving the part of me that's an asshole. That's what I'm saying. You can't equip without the basics. All the skills I have right now, none of the stuff I learned at school, I retain. I remember how to read, right? But I learned how to read when I was 8 years old, right? If I was given access to information in the way that kids have access to information right now, from the age of 8, I would be a significantly different being than if I spent those 8 hours a day at school, you know. Darwin's law picks up some of the slack there, I think, Joy. Obedience is not the teacher's responsibility to teach, it's the parents'. There we go. Exactly. Thank you. Sano for sharing that as well. Love you both, Shell and Isaac. I also hate the word obedience. It's about coming from the other side of the predicament and starting with love always. Agree. Love is true, right? And we need people who think for themselves. We do not need people who are obedient, Joy. Obedient people are the reason we are in the predicament we are right now. Obedient people are the reason there is a class divide. It's literally the reason, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Like really take a moment to think about that. Why are we accepting this amount of inequality? Why are we accepting this amount of injustice? Because we're obedient. So many people are so obedient, just like kumbayaing, listening to what the authority says, right? Being obedient to authority. It's not what we need. It's what messed us up in the first place. Joe, the thunderstorms are my favorite. I'm always trying hard to get Amara to like them and not to be afraid. She hates it when I sit on the front porch when there's a storm coming, but I love it. I really love it as well. Right? I think of it from the perspective of, I know that there are things higher than me. So if there's lightning going to strike close to me, it will still not strike me directly, for one. And then secondly, if I'm going to be struck dead by lightning, I think that's kind of cool. A part of me hopes I get superpowers by getting struck by lightning. So I would be like, Let's flip a coin. Maybe I get superpowers. Maybe I die instantaneously. Maybe I don't die, and I get to say I survived a lightning strike. And that's pretty cool as well. I love feeling that energy. Me too. Makes me feel so small sometimes. Like the amount of awe I get to experience and how big the world is. Do you have any baby screamo concert headphones you can give her? That would help. Kind of like reduce the noise. This one. Things falling apart. I don't know if this card resonates exactly with the stream topic. Let's see. Are you curious what card it is? Bow. Garden of the Lights. Oh, goodness. So, me and Shan had this conversation about flowers and how in this current experience I find myself in, it can feel like I'm a flower getting stomped on, And in some of our minds, flowers can be very delicate things, right? Like small little dainty stalks with a little flower on top of it. I see myself more as a cactus flower. And the fact that I pulled this card is kind of tripping me out right now. The night flower, the moon flower. Lightning behind me, so much energy. Let's see what card I'll be pulling. She does have noise cancelling headphones, but she doesn't wear them. She actually doesn't like being distracted when there's a storm. Wants to be hyper vigilant. Get yourself a cup of tea, get a blankie and a book kind of weather. I love it. Yeah, I'm cold right now. I want to go and get warm. But not... Did I just put the card away? I did. I'm like spacing out a little bit. Garden of the Lights. Surprises. That's the core meaning. Surprises. The geometry of this card is a dodecahedron, nested within a star tetrahedron. Peppy is being needy again. Yeah, come on. You can get on my lap. Come. Come. Here you go. Nested within a star tetrahedron. We might say that this is a vehicle of heaven, a place to play with magic and the light. Joyfully enter this garden of the lights. Take pleasure in the beauty of this glorious night-blooming cactus and its large white flowers, commonly called pitaya, moonflower, or the queen of the night. The exotic fruit of this nocturnal delight is known as the dragon fruit. It is sweet, juicy, crisp, and gorgeous. What a surprise to find a playful, happy dragon inhabiting the garden. This card suggests that you envision your life as a garden of delights and look forward to surprises. Like, I look forward to being surprised by how the educational system changes. Our life being this garden, our children playing in this garden, eating of the fruits of our garden, our collective garden that we're growing. You never know when enchantment, amusement, and revelation will astonish and amaze you. We want our children to be enchanted, amused, right, with what they're learning, and have revelations that will astonish them, right? I do believe that. We want our kids to be amazed, not to be dulled. Look for them everywhere. Appreciate and savor the arrival of something unexpected. Laugh with this little dragon and enjoy the awe and wonder that he imparts. See surprises as marvelous gifts. There it is. Today's resonance. We were talking about things falling apart, and Joy's pillow exploding. Lightning. Joy's pillow exploding, my water pressure not working. Our beloved, Isaac coming back home and finding his computer bricked. Our beloved Duck Dad making a cake and figuring out that it's now a brownie instead of a cake because he forgot the eggs. Surprises! Oh wow! What a wonderful surprise! I am so delighted to have this surprise. Okay. Thank you, friends, for joining me, for sharing as much time as you have with me. We'll be doing this again very soon. I love you. I appreciate you doing this with me, as always. Let's put this away. I still have that one open. Het regenen in Gobbersdal op die winter. It's raining in winter, dear friends. It never does that in South Africa. It doesn't rain in South Africa during winter, but climate changes. The climate has changed. There we go. Have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I truly love you all so very super gigantically, monstrously, enormously, dearly. Melton, all of you oh so amazingly, fantastically, wonderfully marvelous friends. Much love to you too, Blue K. Thank you for still being here with us, dear friend. Blessings to you for the rest of your day. We'll be here again soon. Love you, Chauvan. I love you all. You are an integral part of my whole perspective. Yes. Every single one of us are an integral part to the whole's perspective. Thank you for making us a part of yours, Johan. Oh, the amount of love I have for you, friends. Blessings. Until we do this again tomorrow. Blessings, dear friends. I love you, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye, everybody. Love you.